Hey guys, welcome back to Mr. Levy's math room. I'm going to be going back over some factorization. Now I trust that you have been practicing for your exams. Now I'm going to be going back over these questions. So I have the June 2022 factorization question, and it says 5x, so that's 5x squared plus minus 9x plus 4. Now, if you notice, this is a quadratic expression, right? It's a quadratic expression. So, if you notice, the coefficient of x, or the coefficient of the squared term, is more than 1. If the coefficient of the squared term is more than 1, you're going to multiply the coefficient of x by the constant, right? So, this would be A, that's B, and that's C, right? So we are going to do A times C. Now, A times C, in this case, we have 5 times 4, which is 20, right? So we have 5 times 4, which is 20. We now need to find two numbers that will multiply to give us 20 and add to give us 9. Right? So what we can do now is take the factors of 20. Right? So we have 5 times 4, what else? 10 times 2, and 20 times 1. Now notice we now need a negative 9 and a positive 20. Alright? Now, what we need to do now, if we take 5, we know 5 times 4 is 20. 5 plus 4 is also 9. Right? 5 plus 4 is 9, but what we need is negative 9. Now, what we have to do then is make these numbers negative. Right? So we have, now we know that negative 5 times negative 4 is a positive 20. Alright? And then we know that a negative 5 plus negative 4 equals negative 9. Right? So when we are adding two numbers whose signs are the same, we add the numbers and keep the sign that they both have. Right? And we know that a negative number times a negative number gives us a positive result. Good? So we are now going to replace this negative 9x here with negative 4 and negative 5. Right? So we have now 5x squared minus 5x minus 4x plus 4. So let's get some space here. Alright. Now we are going to group them. So we group them, group them, group them. Alright, so we have we are going to take down the highest common factor from each of the brackets. So the highest common factor of 5x squared and 5x is 5x. Alright, so 5x is common. 5x squared divided by 5x is just x minus 5x divided by 5x is 1. Right? And then we have now, we can do 4 is common, and negative 4x divided by negative 4 gives us a positive 1. No, x, sorry. And then 4 divided by negative 4 gives us negative 1. So now we are going to take the factors here and put them in our brackets. So we have 5x minus 4 into x minus 1. Now notice that we have the same thing in both of the brackets. Right? So if we have the same thing in both brackets, then it means that we are on the right track. Right? Now, if what you have inside there were different, then it means you'll have to go back to the drawing board and come again. Right? So this would be our answer. Right? 5x minus 4 into x minus 1. Now let's hop over to this one. And this is January 2022, so this was the June 2022, this is January 2022. Now notice the difference. In this case, we have 5x squared, so this is a quadratic expression. And look at it, notice the difference between this one. So for this, we are going to use the highest common factor. So we are factorizing by using HCF. So what's common? So 3 is common. 3 can go to 3 cells, 3 can go to 15. We also have n and n. So we can take out 3n. So we will have 3 times n divided by 3 times n cancel n, 3 cancel 3, we're left with n. Plus we have 15, or we could say 3 times 5. 3 times 5 is 15 times n times p divided by 3 times n. So the 3 cancels 3, n cancels n, so we're left with 5p. And that is our answer. Good? So that's our answer right there. So with that one is done by using the highest common factor, and this one is done by grouping. So let's get to another one. Okay. So that was June 2022. Now let's look at so that's June, January. Let's look at January 2017. So January 2017. And that's x squared minus 36. Now look at this now. This is difference of squares. So difference of squares. So the square root of x is what? X squared is x, and the square root of 36 is 6. So this now is written in the form. So we have a squared minus b squared, and that's equal to a plus b into a minus b. So that's the form, general form for the difference of squares. So now we have x squared, square root of x squared is x, square root of 36 is 6, so plus 6, into x minus 6. And that's our result. Okay, so next let's do the, okay, there were 2 for 2017. So we have 2x, let's do that. 2x squared plus 5x minus 12. So again, we are going to, so this is in the form ax squared plus bx plus c. So this is c, that's b, and this is a. Now remember, now we are going to multiply a by c. So a times c, and that will be 2 times negative 12. 2 times negative 12 is negative 24. So that's negative 24. Okay, so we now need to find 2 numbers that will multiply to give us negative 24 and add to give us positive 5. So 2 numbers that will multiply to give us negative 24, add to give us positive 5. So let's write out the factors of 24. So we have 3 times 8, 2 times 12, 24 times 1, what else? So 3 8, 6 times 4, 4. What 6 plus 4 will not give us 5. 24 plus 1 will not give us 5. 2 times 12 will not give us 5. We have 3 and 8, but notice that we need one of these numbers must be negative, right? And one of them must be positive, because we need a negative result here, we need a positive result here, right? And also, when we add them, we should get a positive 5. So let's use this one, right? And in this case, the 3 must be negative. Why? Because when we add them, we must get a positive 5, right? So let's replace, we're going to replace 5x with negative 3 and 8. So we have now 2x squared plus 8x minus 3x minus 12. Alright? Let's group them. What's common here? 2x. Alright, so we take out 2x. 2x divided by 2x squared divided by 2x. That would left us, that leaves us with x. And 8x divided by 2x. That leaves us with 4. Then here, what's common? 3. So minus 3. 3 into 3x, we have x. Then we have negative 3 divided, negative 12 divided by negative 3. That gives us, that gives us what? Positive 4. So we have 2x minus 3 into x plus 4. Alright? So there we have it. Alright, so you know what? I want to do one of these quadratic equations, expressions without the coefficient, with the coefficient as 1. Alright? So let's erase this and remove this. Alright, so we have x squared plus 6x plus 5, x squared plus 6x plus 5. Alright? Now, because the ones we have done so far, you notice the coefficient of x is greater than 1. Now, in this case, the coefficient of x is what? It's 1. Alright? So, if we multiply 1 by 5, we are still going to get 5. So, let's do that. So, a would be equal to 1. You can put it there. B, C. Alright? So, A times C, so that would be 1 times 5 equal 5. So now, we need to find two numbers or two multiples, so that's such that when we multiply 5 and 1, 5, sorry. When we multiply them, we get 5, and when we add them, we get 6. Alright? So that would be what? 5 and 1. So 5 times 1. Good? So we now have, we're going to replace 6x with 5 and 1. So x squared plus 5x plus x plus 5. Now notice what we did. So instead of writing 1 here, we write x. Right? So group them. So what's common? Highest common factor is x. X squared divided by x is x plus 5 into, so that's 1 right here is common, x plus 5. Right? And so we have x plus 1, x plus 1 into x plus 5. Right? So that is it without where the coefficient of the square term is 1, or a is equal to 1. Alright? Okay, good. Let's do another one. We put another one on this. So let's do that. We have x squared minus 4x plus 3. Right? Now the coefficient of x squared is 1, or a is equal to 1. So that's going to be 1 times 3, 3. And so a times c is equal to 1 times 3, which is equal to 3. So we need to find two numbers. Right? So that when we multiply them, we get 3. When we add them, we get negative 4. Right? Now, what two numbers can we multiply to get positive 3? Right? That would be negative 1. It could be positive 1 and positive 3, right? Or negative 1 and negative 3. Now, in this case, B is negative, right? It's negative. So we couldn't add positive 1 and positive 3 and get negative 4, right? So we have to make them negative. Good? So we are going to replace negative 4x with negative 1 and negative 3. So that's x squared minus x minus 3x plus 3. Group them. So what's common here? X squared divided by x is x minus 1. And then 3 is common here. And 3x divided by 3. 3x divided by 3 is x. And 3 divided by negative 3, that's equal to negative 1. So we now have x minus 3, x minus 1. Right? So there you have it. Okay. Right, let's look at some more past paper questions. So we can look at the January 2023 paper. So this is January 2023, January 2023. And that's x, y minus y squared. Right? Now we are going to using HCF. We are going to use the HCF to factorize this, right? So we are going to, the highest common factor here is y. Y into xy, that's x, see? So x, y divided by y cancels, we are left with x, minus y times y over y. We're left with y. So that's your answer. Simple, that's 1 mark. Right? Then we have, that was 1. Second one, x squared minus y squared. That's January 2023. This is what? Difference of squares. Right? So, and the general form for this is what? A squared minus b squared equal a plus b, a minus b. Good? So we have x, the square root of x squared is x. Square root of y squared is y. X minus y. That's it. Another 1 mark. Right, so then we have the January where am I? Oh, no, not January. That's June 2018. And you have 1 minus 4a squared. Now, the square root of 1 is 1. Alright, so square root of 1 is 1. So we have And so that's right. So this is difference of squares. Right? And then we'll have 1 squared minus 2h squared. So these are the square roots of 1 and 4h squared. Alright? So we'll have 1 plus 2h into 1 minus 2h. Right? So note that, and then for the second part, I'm going to put it at the top. Sorry. Still June 2018. This is part 2, and it says PQ minus Q squared minus 3Q plus 3Q. Alright? And we're going to do this by grouping. Right? So we're going to factorize this one by grouping. Right? So we can just group them, group them, group them, group them. Take the highest common factor. The highest common factor of PQ and Q squared would be Q. Q and then PQ, so PQ divided by Q, we're left with P minus Q squared plus Q times Q divided by Q is equal to Q minus 3Q Did I write it correctly? This is P, not Q. So this is P. So 3 is common. We're left with P plus Q. Minus Q, sorry. Because you're saying 3Q divided by negative 3. So we have what now? Q minus 3, P minus Q. Right? And that's where we are. Q minus 3, P minus Q. Alright? Okay, now let's look at these final ones. This is June 20, 2017. And I want you to notice the trend of the factorization. So you're either getting the factorizing quadratic expressions, factorization by grouping, or factorization by using the highest common factor. Alright? So there's one of 3 generally. So this is June 2017, and we have 6 6y squared minus 18xy. So with this one we use the highest common factor. Alright? The highest common factor of 6y and 18. So 6 can go to 18, so 6. Y is also common. So 6y into 6y squared is y minus 18. So we have 6 times 3 times x times y over 6 times y. The y is cancelled, the 6 cancel. We're left with 3x. Alright, so that's it. That's your 1 mark here. And then we have the second one, 4m squared minus 1. Now if you notice, this is the difference of squares. Right? The square root of 4m will be what? 2m, and the square root of 1 is 1. Right? So we now have 2m plus 1 into 2m minus 1. Right? That's your answer right there. Good. And the last one, right? Notice that the June 2017 paper has 3 factorization questions, one right after the other. So 2t squared minus 3t minus 2. Good? So this is A, B, C. Right? So A times C is equal to 2 times negative 2, which is equal to negative 4. So we now need to find two numbers such that when we multiply them we get negative 4 and we add them to get negative 3. So multiply to give negative 4 and we add to give negative 3. Right? Now notice we need a negative result from our multiplication. So a negative number times a positive number gives us a negative result. And when we are adding two numbers whose signs are different, we subtract and keep the sign of the larger. Alright? So in this case, what two numbers will multiply to give us 4 and add to give us 3. Right? So it would be 4 times 1. Now which one of them would be negative? Because we need a negative 3 here. Right? So the 4 would be negative. Alright? So we're going to replace 3t with negative 4 and 1. So we have 2t squared minus 4x plus x minus 2. Group them. What's common here? So 2t. So x. 2t and t for t. So that's 2t is common. 2t squared divided by 2t, that gives us t minus 2. Right? And then what's common here is just 1. Right? So t minus 2. Right? So we have 2t plus 1 into t minus 2. Right? And that's where we have it. And that's it. Right? So t minus 2 into t, 2t plus 1. Alright? So these are some of the factorization questions from 2017 all the way to 2023. And notice, as I said before, that the three common there are the quadratic expression, the factorization by grouping, and factorization by using the highest common factor. Alright? And notice when we have for the quadratic expressions, when when a is greater than 1, you multiply a times c. Right? Well, you can do it both ways, whether it's 1 or not. Right? Just practice to multiply a times c. Right? And you won't go wrong. Right? So, exams are coming up shortly, and I want to wish you all the very best. Right? We'll just continue to work until it's time for the exam. And you can do well, but you have to do what? Practice. Right? And practice makes perfect. Now, what I want you to do is go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Click on the notification bell so you never miss another session, and share the video with your friends. Alright, so all the best until I see you next time. Blessings.